MMA Nation, Dixie Jean here, getting ready for Badbeat coming March 28th at Commerce Casino. Right now I got Greg Parker in here, getting ready to take on Paul Song. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Doing good. Yeah, it was a late night last night because my baby's sick. But
how old are you?
She's just turned
daughter?
1. Yeah.
Oh,
daughter.
okay. Newbies.
Yeah, loving it.
First one?
Mm-hmm.
And how is that affecting like your training?
Not much actually. My fiance, she's awesome at like being supportive and taking care of the baby. So I mean, she's kind of pushing me to be in the gym more than I would be. You know, she's not. I have good support system, so it really doesn't affect training at all.
Gotcha. Now going into this, first off, you actually came out to one of our tryouts for our fighters for BAMMA USA at the LA Fitness Expo. What was your initial reason to go out for the tryouts?
Well, I knew about BAMMA for a while. I mean, they promote better than any, probably better than any promotion in California. I mean, you know, you've got UFC and Bellator out there, but they're kind of more national. As far as local events, nobody promotes like BAMMA does. So everybody knows about BAMMA. And I've wanted to fight for them for a while. But yeah, the opportunity came about. I don't remember how I heard about it for the first time. It might have been Facebook, actually. I think Brett put something on Facebook that said like, hey, you think we should have a tryout for fighters? What's everybody's thoughts on that? And I hit him up. I was like, Brett, if you do, call me, man, because I'm there. And I guess it went well because here we are.
Yeah, no, it's the first fight after the expo, and you got on the card first off. You're actually originally supposed to be taking on a different opponent. Now you're fighting Paul Song. How was that with your training? Has it changed your training anyway? It
changed a little bit, and it usually doesn't. Usually I'll just train to fight. Like I'll do me.
Mm-hmm.
But since Alvarez was a southpaw, I had my training partners working some southpaw and stuff like that, and he's, you know, a real strong guy, so there was a game plan involved in that. And then Paul Song being an orthodox fighter, and the other thing is Paul Song hasn't fought in a couple of years, and so we have no homework done on him at all. I know nothing. Paul, like, hey man, you're a mystery to me still. So really, it's just back to working meat, you know, and the first round is going to be very much a feel-out process because no idea what he has to offer.
Okay, well, going into this, his original opponent actually has a shoulder injury, so he couldn't be on this card. But going into it, he's a great fighter, but this one, being the mystery, does that add a little bit more of a scary tactic for yourself?
Not really. It reminds me, like, I had a pretty extensive amateur career. I had like 14 amateur fights or something like that, and that's how they all are. You don't know who you're going to fight as an amateur. And a lot of those shows are 2-minute rounds, 3-minute rounds. So there's a feeling out process still, but I mean, it's a fast one. You know, you got to figure out who you're fighting in the first minute or two. And so it'll kind of bring me back to that day, I guess, but I already know how to do that. I think I'll be okay.
You're talking about your amateur career, but just last year for your pro career, you've only fought a couple times. I think it was 3 fights on 2 different promotions.
Yeah.
Do you want to change that a little bit, be more an active fighter?
Yeah, I would. I love BAMMA, like I said, and it'd be cool to make a home at BAMMA. I didn't take a whole lot of fights last year. Last year was kind of building my family. Like I said, I had a 1-year-old at home. So it wasn't a real busy year for me, but you know, family's all on the same page as far as like we would like the fight game to take us somewhere. So again, with the support system in place, I'd like to take, you know, 4 fights a year going forward.
Now, I was talking to you earlier. You were mentioning something about nicknames. You're not so conventional like some other fighters I know. Why is that?
No, not really. All right, so I don't really have a dead set nickname, and this all started off when I was in the military, and I used to do like just local grappling tournaments and stuff. And my buddies would make fun of me. They'd act like I'm never going to be big because I don't have an awesome nickname. And they'd do joking announcements and they'd be like, Greg, the fuzzy bunny. Like they'd, you know, do jokes like that. So they'd make up something new every time. And that eventually developed into, I would stick 75 cents in those little tattoo machines. And whatever came out, slap that on and have the announcer announce that. So my last fight, it was like this sparkly pink ribbon and I was the pink ribbonator.
Well, you got a submission out of that one, though, right?
Yeah, it wasn't bad, you know.
Don't underestimate the nickname.
I know, right? No, I've been a bunch of silly shit. The Deadly Dolphin, I think, was the first big one. I did a fight up in Seattle.
Deadly Dolphin?
Oh, it was the most adorable looking dolphin ever. Doughy green eyes, and my coach was like, no, that's a deadly dolphin.
My question, though, did you go to the little girl tattoo machine or to the little boy tattoo machine?
Well, the pink ribbonator one was in the little girl tattoo machine, but that wasn't my choice. My buddy picked that out for me, and I was like, hey man, go give me a tattoo. And of course, you know, little girl one. He goes, wear this, sucker.
Well, it seems like you have a lot of support from family wanting to have you elevate yourself a little bit and be more active. Friends obviously have a good sense of humor and they support you as well. But who do you train with right now?
I train at OC Kickboxing, so I've got Coach Dennis, I've got training partners, Yoko and Darren, my two main training partners over there. And I train over at Clever Jiu-Jitsu as well. They give me a lot of help, so shouts out to them, OC Kickboxing and Clever Jiu-Jitsu.
You stick your tongue out, is that the way?
That's how I give shout outs. It's pretty standard, really.
All right, any shout outs for your sponsors?
Thanks to your fight, they're making my trunks and stuff and getting me in there, but most of the gyms have been helping me out.
Well, going on with this fight, taking on Paul Song, where do you see yourself going from here? Like, do you want to stay local? Do you want to, like...
I don't know. I think, of course, every fighter wants to go national, you know. There's a lot of money in national. But as far as I would like to fight Paul Song and win, but right now I'm having a hard time getting opponents as it is. I've only got 3 fights, but I've got all 3 wins by submission and pretty quickly. I think my longest fight was like 4 minutes and change. And so right now, like even getting Paul, I think I had 3 fighters or maybe more duck out of the fight. So I'd like to get bigger fights, but it's been hard to get opponents in the past.
Well, here at BAMMA USA, we actually take pride in pairing up our opponents really well. We don't want them just to walk in there and be like, you obviously know who wins. We want it to be exciting. So with that comes people not so sure if they want to take on fights, hard opponents, things like that. But
yeah, I've noticed. When I look into the fighter pool for any organization really, you got this person, you can fight. And I was looking through these guys that were thrown at me from BAMMA, and they were saying, hey, this is the fighter pool, this is what you're looking at as far as opponents. And everybody's got winning records, and everybody's got finishes, and it was obvious to me just looking at the fighters. I was like, okay, this is a different class. This is a different type of promotion that I've been doing, So it's cool. I'm excited for the step up.
Now you mentioned that obviously you're a submission guy. Now going into it, one of our sponsors, Be First Clothing, is actually promoting a little bonus for those fighters that get submission knockout of the night. Is that a little more incentive for you?
It's really cool. I've never fought on a card that had knockout of the night, submission of the night type bonus. That's pretty awesome when I heard about that. And of course, I'm not a big heavy hitter. I've got, you've got these little string bean arms hanging down. So I'm going for that submission of the night. I wouldn't mind getting that. The other problem is I don't have fancy submissions. A lot of times those submission of the nights go to awesome omoplatas and stuff like that. If I get a submission, it'll probably be a rear naked choke or a Kimura, something pretty non-showy. But I would love to get that bonus money. Helps pay the bills.
Hey, it still takes technique and it takes a little bit of drive on
That's
your
what I
part,
think.
so that's what counts. Now going into this though, we are 2 weeks out from the fight. What is your main focus from here on out?
Well, I'll start my weight cut soon. And I don't have to cut a whole lot for this fight because I've been walking around kind of light unintentionally. It's just, I don't know, I'm just a little light right now. So I'm probably going to be cutting about 17, 18 pounds sometime in the last 12 days. I'll step up the road work. I'll be putting in probably 40 miles a week, something like that on the road. And it's going to be a big step up in workload. A lot of it has to do with weight loss, but the 2 weeks out from the fight, so this week that we're going into is going to be my hell week. We'll do 2-a-day trainings, and I'll get busted up pretty bad. It'll be good. I love hell week. It's miserable, but at the end of it, you feel really, really ready.
We talked about something with your military. You're probably used to those type of weeks.
Yeah. That's how I kind of got started in the game, was in the military. When I was in the Marine Corps, they put together an all-Marine submission grappling team. That's when UFC first started to get real popular and this and that. And so the Marine Corps goes, oh, this is a recruiting opportunity, where we can, just like the all-Marine football team, if we put a bunch of guys out there parading around, winning tournaments, local tournaments and stuff like that, wearing Marine Corps uniforms, it looks good. And so they put a team together. They had an open tryout. I got to go to that. And I didn't make the team from their open tryout. You had to win your weight class, and then you get to go on the team. But the guy who beat...
What weight class were you?
Back then, I think I was like 85,
oh, okay.
I think. And so I didn't win my weight class. I came in second. But the guy who beat me just said, no thanks. I just want to beat up all these guys just because.
Just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I guess. So that was awesome because then once I got on the team, I didn't have to do military stuff anymore. You don't have to run, jump, climb trees. You just fight 2 days, and that was it. You're non-deployable, all that stuff. So it was just a blessing. And and then afterwards, after I got out, I looked for a gym and found a home, and been doing it since then.
couple fights last year. Coming into this fight, come March 28th, what can the audience expect from you in the cage?
My big thing is, and it's odd because I've been lucky enough to finish fights early, but I like to push pace and I like to take fights into later rounds. I feel more comfortable in later rounds. I do a lot of road work, and in the gym I feel like that's where I get most of my work done is in the later rounds. I feel like I can drown guys. So I think that'll be it. It'll be kind of that fast pace, kind of even in the end of the third round. It's like, wow, how's he still moving? And hopefully opponents are going, wow, how's he still moving?
Out of breath, winded.
That's what we're looking for.
All right. Well, you can see Greg Parker take on Paul Song March 28th at Commerce Casino. We'll see what his nickname is come fight night. It's a mystery to even us, so we'll see how that goes. And best of luck with training.
Thank you.
Stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing you.
All right.